Well, we can rapid fire the rest. The first two.
Everybody talk.
It's gone.
It just started recording. That's why it's gone.
Oh,
Mike, it's gone.
We're gonna talk. Thanks. We're gonna. Mike. Peter wanted to talk about. Is this even gonna be usable? Fuck it. It's going. Peter wanted to talk about typing your Windows 11 password into Notepad. No, that's not right. Is that right?
No, it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Not so critical update.
Wow, we are getting. You can show that we've been doing this for a year now. We've just really got this tight.
It's tight. It is a tight running ship.
Just go.
Just go.
This is Windows 11 new version. When typing your password into Notepad and websites, it's going to alert you, right? So whenever you use up your Windows 11 password in something else, assumedly Windows is going to be monitoring every keystroke you make and telling you when you're typing your password into something, and it will go, no, you silly boy or silly girl or silly person, you've used your password, dummy. I find it's so well intentioned. It's trying to get people to stop.
But it's Microsoft's well-intentions.
First of all, the only way it can do this is by monitoring everything you type everywhere, which is horrifying.
Correct.
It means that it's got some local copy of your password or a hash of your password in memory that it is constantly
checking. And it's hashing everything you're typing as you're typing it. So think about, let's break this down for a second.
Break it down.
So let's look at the scenarios of how this could be achieved. We can run through the monitor everything typed keystroke by keystroke and hash it consecutively, I guess. So I type 1, it hashes, checks. 1, 2, it hashes, checks. 1, 2, so on and so forth. And when it matches, it pings you and says, hey, idiot, you typed your password in. Did you mean to do that? The other way that it could do this is by activating only when you type the first letter of your password. Let's say not letter, but the first what's the word I'm looking for? The first key of your password. You hit that key, it says, okay, start recording. What are they typing? Hashes, checks.
Yeah, I think there's different ways you can optimize this, but whatever way it is, I agree. There's only a limited number of ways you can do this, and none of them are particularly efficient.
What Microsoft is telling me is that, hey, we're the good guys, so our keylogger is good. It's good for you, okay? Because that's what this is. It's a fucking keylogger at the end of the day.
But what are you? You can't your operating system sees everything you're doing anyway. You can't hide from your operating system. They're watching.
True. That's not true at all. There's been safeguards put in place by the creators of the operating system to not monitor actively for anything and everything that you type.
Slippery slope. This is a bit. It reminds me of the client-side image checking that Apple were going to introduce on their on iOS
on iCloud. Mobile. It was on iCloud.
No, they were going to do it client-side. They already do it. They do it now on iCloud.
I see.
Yeah, if you upload an image to iCloud, it gets scanned and compared to known hashes of child abuse material.
Exploitation. Right.
Yes, which is kind of some people say, oh, it's the same, but what they went a step further, and they were going to have that working on the actual mobile. So when you take a photo, it will or copy a photo to your device, it will check it on your phone rather than after it's uploaded. And that was a bit of a step too far, which I agree. So this password checking thing in Windows that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah,
but the purpose of the operating system is to monitor your keyboard for activity. so that if I press a button, it shows up on my screen. The operating system is doing that because it's watching the keyboard. So you could say, well, now it's not looking for individual keystrokes, it's looking for keystroke combinations. Okay, if my password is Control-Alt-P, then yeah, it's monitoring for that too, because it can take some action. So I don't...
You know, Mike, you really make my life difficult sometimes. We record this at the end of the day, right? And I've run out of mental energy by this time. It's 10 o'clock in the evening for me. I feel like if we did
now that the excuses are out of the way,
to be more clear in my explanations of why you're so hideously wrong. But like, I think I've used this example before. You remind me of an old person I heard about once, an old man who thought that that when it was warm, it was the absence of cold, not the fact that it was the presence of heat, the presence of energy. It was talked about cold was the active element. Yeah.
Weeks ago. Yeah.
And that's not right. But it's difficult to explain why it's wrong. Yeah, it's difficult to say, no, it's the atoms moving around. That's what energy is. And
they're being sped up. Sure.
Yeah, that's what is expressed as a form of energy. It's not the fact that there's more cold. And they're like, yeah, but why not? And then you go, but it's just not. It's just fucking not, all right?
So you think I'm wrong, but you'd have no idea why.
No.
I know you're wrong.
I think...
No, you're definitely wrong.
But don't know why.
Mike, your example is wrong.
Yeah.
Because we have to really break it down and don't say it again, okay? So you said when I type on my keyboard with my 2 index fingers,
and
no other fingers because Mike's old. It sends electrical it sends electrical signals from the little wire to my USB interface, to my computer, to my CPU, and onto my screen through the GPU.
Yep.
Gets stored in RAM, blah, blah, blah. Right? So the PC is actively monitoring my keystrokes. Yes. Wrong. The PC is not actively monitoring your keystrokes. You're using actively monitoring incorrectly. The PC is taking what you're typing and dumping it on your screen. Now, there might be things, there might be things installed on the operating system or the operating system itself that is monitoring keystrokes. Okay? And what is being outputted on the screen. But saying that the operating system is underlyingly constantly monitoring everything you type is not true.
Okay.
Because if I type something into a notepad, then I don't save it, I close it, and I restart my PC, the chances of recovering what I typed is near null.
Oh, you should use Notepad++.
Love Notepad++. Big fan.
It totally does that. Okay, so I will revise my argument and say this is no different than autocorrection that red underlines words that you misspell.
In a way,
but I
don't think that's even
and
true.
Suggests a correct word on your phone.
So if I type my password, it autocorrects essentially with a recommendation saying, don't do that.
But it shouldn't know your password.
So this was another thing that came up, by the way. This was another little issue that came up this week, which I didn't actually post in Discord. But it's a new attack called password jacking or something like that. And what it is when you type your password into a form online, your browser will spell check it for you. And if it's a known word, then you know that somebody has used that password before. Because it's not underlined, right? And there's a thing with Chrome and a lot of browsers where it will do a remote check to, it doesn't check it locally. It sends what you're typing off to a server and says, is this spelled correctly? So you have live updates, so you always have the latest spellings of things and new terms and whatever acronyms. It's like you can check brute force. You can check to see whether passwords are valid or not by typing them in and seeing whether Chrome corrects it or not, tries to say it's the correct word or not.
Interesting.
Something like that. I didn't read the details, but
then you are sending your every time you want to check a password, you are sending it out to someone on purpose.
Well, you're sending all.
No, that's the attack. That's the attack.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you're sending all text,
you have to have access to the browser, the device.
So very often, you two team up on me and say that I'm wrong. Whatever. I think our viewers should come into the comments and say whether they think you guys are right or whether they think I'm right.
Yeah.
That is the correct answer. In fact, I'm not even sure I trust the comments. I think really what people should do is join our Discord server.
Yeah.
And come and say why I'm wrong there, since Peter was unable to do it.
Don't you agree, John? Don't you agree?
100% agree that you should come and tell us why we're right.
Yeah, I love it when he does this.
Is wrong. On our Discord server, which will be linked beneath this video. While you're down there, why don't you go ahead and click on the right side, like and subscribe, click the little bell icon, and make sure you're notified every day. Every day.
Made my week, John.
What I want to say before we wrap up is it's really tough to be in the chair that says this is wrong when there's only good intentions by the creators. Microsoft isn't trying to be some evil entity who collects all passwords by doing this. They're trying to protect ignorant users from phishing attacks. We have to look at these types of solutions that they come up with through a really critical lens, because there needs to be steps taken, similar to Peter's great example of the iOS image hashing check. Apple didn't consider that you could get an image airdropped or forcibly sent to you through text message that is something you didn't want, and then you would basically be framed for receiving child exploitive images.
So net negative or net positive on this specific case, John?
Negative.
Net
there
negative.
There has to be more than I need more information regarding their checks. I need to understand more.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
Net negative?
Net negative. I'd rather they didn't do it.
Yeah.
All right. I definitely have more to say out of personal experience and people that I work with, but we'll cover that in another episode.